Capricorn, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early May 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Capricorns. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these Cappies in early May? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for the Cappies in early May. What is the energy? What's the vibe? And I'm using a different oracle deck than I normally do. If you're a regular watcher, you know I've been riding with that one oracle deck for a very long time. Felt like I need to just switch it up a little bit. Now, don't be too disturbed by the art style, okay? I think it's kind of cute, but it is also a little like, oh, all right, that's unique, that's different. It's Alice in Wonderland themed. And as you can see, the card you're getting here this week is Messages for a Rabbit. Now, that's an interesting archetype to really talk about. Now, it can be communication, energy moving very quick, because you know rabbits, they're very lucky, but it's a very fast moving type of energy. And I feel like there's a lot of layers to this card, even though it seems like very simple. But before we fully dive into it, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the May subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, very simple imagery. We have Alice chilling right there. We have the rabbit. They do kind of have an implied bond, right? Because they both have the same color eyes. They're red. Now, when I think of rabbits, first and foremost, I think of it as a very lucky type of energy. To me, whenever I see a rabbit, that's a very positive omen. I actually saw one today before filming this. So it's interesting how that all mixes together. So for some of you, like me, and you might have some nice swing of luck. That's really good. But messages from a rabbit, that's communication. It's fast moving, but it could also be subtle. So I'm not sure if you're dealing with situations where you're trying to read in between the lines. There's a certain subtlety here to how someone's communicating. Okay, so whether it's you dropping little hints, someone else dropping hints, just watch out for that for the coming days and weeks. But generally, this is a pretty positive card, but it's very fast. So for some of you, I mean, it could be something you need to respond to quickly as well. That's another little vibe I'm picking up off this. So it's like, don't delay. But we're going to leave her over there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say this first card here doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for my Cappies. What's happening? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was pretty positive to me. Now, it was titled Surprising Action Incoming, and action could come in many different forms. So whether it's you making big moves, whether it's somebody else, it did catch someone off guard. That's the big vibe. So well, there was a person you're connected and you're like, all right, that's not like you. Didn't expect that from you. Or for a portion of you, it's like, think about it, plan it, act. It's like very quick to make things happen. So we're going to see what shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for the Cappies. What's happening in early May? What do we got for our good friends? Thank you. Okay, first card out. Okay. Really powerful energy to start, not necessarily a rough one. We're going to have to dig into it further, but we have the Death card. Don't be too nervous about that. I always tell people this is a very transformative type of energy, and it does have a lot of positives to it, but it could be very intense, very karmic. Let's get a couple more. So what do we have here for the Cappies, please? Thank you. Okay, Page of Swords. That's an energy that is most definitely on guard. Let's get one more out here, and we'll start piecing it together. Okay, so very intriguing. Notice how that page looks like it's super deadlock focused on that Death card. And we have the 5 of Swords, a little aggressive in this energy here. The energy overall feels like really protective, like guard up type of vibe. And it reminds me of the 9 of Wands in a way, like initially. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know, I always like to look at the elements first, because that clues us into how the energy is moving, where it's moving from. And there's a big prominence of air energy. Swords represent air. So whether it's a connection between you and an air sign, or it could even just represent a lot of mental activity. So again, it doesn't always have to be stressing out. It can be. Could be a little stressed, a little anxious. It could also be communication. So we're definitely going to need to dig further, especially with this page here in the center. But it's very cerebral. And then we have water. Okay, like the death card that represents Scorpio. So it's like we have emotional and mental. So it's like we have the heart and mind showing up here. So the main part of the spread is very much internal energy. So watch out for intensity in that area. But let's go through piece by piece and really start to build it out, because I feel like there's a lot of different ways this could go. Just because there's a little bit of a standoffish, aggressive, or skeptical energy doesn't mean it's going to be a bad reading. This could just be spirit telling you like, hey, be on the lookout for something, keep your guard up. But let's go. Piece number one, or card number one rather, we have the death card. Now for a portion of you, maybe you have Scorpio placements or are connected to one, and the death card is nuanced but not. It's super powerful. Now for some Capricorns, this could represent certain situations that might be out of your hands. Of course, death can represent a close of a cycle, close of a chapter, or an ending, but that's not always my big focus with this card. When I see death, I think of transformation. So think of Phoenix rising from the ashes. If you're reading a book, you close one chapter, open a new. So this is all about like change and transformation. It's a highly karmic card as well. So whether it's karmic situations, people catching some karma, who knows? We're going to have to see how it all plays out. But I mean, it can be very simple too. Like the death card, it could be, all right, that chapter is closing out or ending. So we'll have to look at it further. But I love the transformational and karmic aspect connected to it. Now, moving to the center, we start picking up on this really guarded, skeptical energy with the Page of Swords. Now, for a portion of you, again, if you're not connected to an air sign, pages represent communication. And they're also students, they're learners. So like there could be great energy around learning new things, new paths, filling your brain with information. And that's kind of the vibe I'm picking up off this page. It's like I'm finding facts. So don't be surprised in this time if you're diving down rabbit holes, if you're trying to fill your brain with information, trying to piece things together or figure them out. Because that's initially what I'm picking up here. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to stare at this. I'm going to look this in the face, even if it's not comfortable. And I'm going to connect these dots. Now, the Page of Swords, aside from the communication and all the things we just mentioned, it is the watcher of the tarot deck, okay? So again, whether it's someone that has you under the microscope, maybe you have someone or a situation under your microscope, maybe you need to. That's a big thing with this page. It could be spirit saying like, hey, Capricorn, keep an eye on this. Don't ignore this. You need to really keep a close eye on this because it could have some real importance moving forward, especially with the karmic archetypes of the death card, okay? The challenge with pages, especially with this one, it can be standoffish. Like I said, very skeptical, like, not sure if I believe that. Pages also represent an energy that's not guaranteed as well, similar to aces. So we'll circle back on that. Now, moving to the back end, we have a card that is the epitome of a double-edged sword. We have the Five of Swords, and you see this individual here. He's standing, he has all the swords, he won. He did what he has to do to come out on top, and this can be good. I'll give you the positive before we jump into the challenge. The Five of Swords could just represent determination. Like, I have my mindset, I'm locked in on this, this is the way I'm going, nothing's going to take me off my path. If you're going through tough situations, this is a great card for just keeping it moving, keeping it pushing. I really do like this in a lot of areas. However, this card can be very aggressive. This card could be angry. This card could lash out sometimes. It's very much conflict based. It could be mean as well. So whether we're looking at someone's emotions, but when we combine all, like when I see the Page of Swords with the Five of Swords, it's like, I got my eye on you. I'm watching for any funny business. It's giving me that vibe. Either that with the defensiveness, someone might be in their feelings too, right? Someone might be a little upset, angry, or mad. So we will have to see. I don't think it ruins your whole week. I don't think it tanks it. But for another portion of you, there could be something where Spirit just doesn't want you to ignore it. So I want to dive deeper on all the Cappy. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that death card. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cappy, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, death card time. What's happening? What is this intense energy about? I mean, this is a very, very similar energy that I've been picking up a lot in the Zodiac. Now, we have the Death card. This is either two major things to me, because these are both karmic cards. Of course, for a small portion of you, there could be some sort of karmic cycle or karmic situation that is coming to a close. Now, when we speak about karma or karmic situations, sure, it could sometimes be something that's in your life to teach you a lesson. For some portion of you, this could just be a period of transformation and change. So if you've been going through it recently and we have death and judgment in reverse, it's like, okay, this energy is going to start calming down. The change, the karmic change or transformation is almost complete. So there is an energy to me that feels like it's culminating. So something is getting close to, I don't want to say it's expiration because that implies that it's a bad thing. But another thing, aside from all that, when I see death with judgment in reverse, this can represent something coming back around, something flaring up, something returning, which I've seen several times, specifically this week. So in this time, watch out for, it feels like I'm reliving the past in some sort of way. It's like, okay, why am I doing this again? Or why am I experiencing this again? So just watch out for things like that, whether it's people or situations. There could be things looping back around. So very powerful, very intense, much karmic energy right here on the front. We're just going to leave it at that. We're not going to complicate it any further. Let's keep moving. Let's see what the page has to say, especially since it's like in the page's sights. It's like I'm keeping a very close eye on this. But why is the Page of Swords here for Cappy, please? What is happening? Oh, okay. Okay, we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Oof. Now, I don't feel like this is an energy that's necessarily saying like, oh, I'm giving up. It's not like that to me, but it also feels like putting something on pause. That's one thing. Page of Swords with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, it's like not putting forth much effort. So for some Capricorns, maybe there's a person you're connected to where you feel like they could do more, they could be doing more, they could be putting in more effort. You might feel like there's an imbalance there, like you're putting in more effort than the next person. That's a very specific message, right? That's something I would see in a personal reading, actually. But the Eight of Pentacles could represent issues in the workplace or business. So watch out for stuff like that, especially with the Page of Swords, Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and what we see here in the front. There can most definitely be an important situation that Spirit wants you to keep an eye on. Okay, and I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be a warning yet. We'll see when we get to the Five of Swords. But this is just telling me like, okay, all right, stop putting so much energy into it. I mean, for some of you, maybe it's just switching your vibe and seeing how it affects the situation too. That's very specific. I'm getting a lot of specific things here. Okay. And again, if this is somebody else that you're connected to where it's like there's a sudden change in their vibe, sudden change in the way they're acting, it is worth keeping a very close eye on. Okay. That's just the big vibe I'm picking up. But let's keep moving. Let's see what's up. So a lot of stuff. It feels like you're reading this week. There's like layer after layer because we're pulling multiple messages for each one, more so than normal. But let's see what's up with the Five of Swords. Then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So let's get it going here. Why is that Five of Swords in the mix for my good friends? Why is that Five of Swords here? Thank you. All right. Someone needs a little bit of a timeout or a break. And remember, I saw it in the center where it was like, oh, hit the pause button for a second. I feel like for some Capricorns, there could be certain situations where a passive approach could be the best for right now. I'm not saying always. I just feel like right now, when I see Five of Swords with the Ace of Wands, even in reverse, that's an energy that can most definitely lash out. So again, either this is somebody that they're feeling aggressive, angry, or mad about something. They're kind of pissed off with this energy I'm picking up on the back end. But it also tells me, like, don't force it. Don't force it. Don't be too aggressive, because then the energy will start like working against you. That's just the energy. Again, this could be for somebody else too. This might be their mindset, but it's just so bizarre the way it's showing up. And then, yeah, Five of Swords, Ace of Wands in reverse. This could be somebody that, of course, they're in their feelings. They're upset about something, but they're not saying it. And I don't really like that combination, especially with the Five of Swords in this, the fire-air combination. If you suppress, eventually it's going to come out. So I'm not saying I have advice for that energy. It's just reading that way. It just feels super aggressive here. So for some of you, you might need to just take a passive approach with something or blow off some steam. That could be a good thing too. If you're feeling tense, bored, whatever it might be, you might need to just blow off a little steam. in whatever way that is, whether it's creative or physical activity. But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card. So we do have some waters that need to be navigated this week. It's all good. But position number one, we're starting here with the Death card and Judgment in reverse. Now, of course, to me, the initial thing felt like a karmic cycle closing, whether it is turning the page on something or a transformative period almost coming to a close. So it's like, oh, you're almost there. This energy is almost at an end. It's almost complete. Now, if that's not the case, if it's business as usual, everything's cool, to me, this could represent something coming back around. Okay, so a cycle swinging back, where to me, it just feels like I've dealt with this already. Why am I dealing with it again? Moving to the center, we have the Page of Swords with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So again, this is where we get that first hint of taking a passive approach. I did say watch out for issues in the workplace or business. There could be someone, if they switch their vibe up, you need to keep a very close eye on them. So if they act one way one day and another way the next, Spirit's like, oh, you keep an eye on this. This could be an important situation that needs your attention. So it's like, watch this. So if you're guarded or skeptical about something, or that pops up soon, Spirit's just telling you to be easy for the time being. Moving to the back end, we have the Five of Swords with the Ace of Wands. That's the most volatile energy I'm picking up this week. Did say this could be someone that's a little aggressive, angry, mad for whatever reason, even if they're not expressing it. But with the fire-air combination, it could go from quiet to not very, very quickly. And again, the passive approach, don't force anything. You might need to give something a little time. And for another portion of you, maybe you just need to blow off a little bit of steam. If you're feeling tense and you can't quite put your finger on it, Spirit might want you to just blow off some steam. Okay, so please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. All right. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. It could be good too. So let's shuffle it up here for the Cappies. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get your shadow card. What do we got? Quick, super quick. King of Swords. So yeah, with all this swordsy energy we have here on the top, this is like the more evolved version of the Page of Swords. Now, the good thing about this, if you're not connected to an air sign, and it's not gender specific, the King of Swords is very smart, analytical, intelligent, and very much a strategist. So for some Capricorns, there might be something where you need to approach it in a structured way or plan it out a little bit better. Or, I mean, if we look at the inverse, this could represent somebody else doing the same. They're in planning mode for whatever reason. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but a big shadow side of the King of Swords fits the bill with what we have back here, because the King of Swords can be hurtful, could be mean, could be very upset. So I would watch out for that energy, especially if there's something you're harboring and you're not quite happy, or something gets under your skin over the coming days and weeks. The Spirit really wants you to try to let it cool off for whatever reason. Like, aggression is not the way, at least at this time. And I'm a believer that, you know what, sometimes situations do call for a more aggressive approach. I just don't think right now. So we're going to leave it at that, Cappy. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the May subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you could book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. You could go check out my digital calendar for availability. But for the May subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of the most beautiful new decks out there, the Stained Glass Tarot. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the zodiac signs, which one is your favorite? Not your sign. Which one do you work best with? Which flows with your energy? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.